President orders officials to provide accurate information on expressway to the media in a transparent manner. Arjuna Aloysius tells Presidential Commission of Inquiry he does not wish to provide evidence. CEB employees continue strike action as talks are underway to resolve issues. Yoshida Rajapaksa questioned by the FCID. Will the price of a domestic gas cylinder increase?
Good evening and welcome to Thursday night's edition of Primetime News, live on TV1. I'm Sonali Wanikapadagiri.
I'm Saturanga Puarachi, and let's head on to the stories in detail.
The review of the Road Development Authority's activities was held today at the President's office under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena. The head of state made inquiries into allegations of irregularities concerning the construction of the Central Expressway.
They say that instructions were issued to the company that won the bid to form a consortium with a company that was rejected. Is this a lie?
The cabinet has decided that if they like, they can form a consortium and work together. When the Prime Minister went to Japan, a request was made by them. The Japanese government is providing the funds for this. The Japanese Prime Minister and Cabinet wrote a number of letters asking us to get Fujita involved in this if possible. We have awarded the tender to Taisei. Afterwards, we called them and asked, are you open to forming a consortium based on mutual consent? Both parties have agreed and have handed in letters saying that they will work together.
Fujita was rejected from the tender. It is not right to form a consortium with them.
So this is the issue, they were rejected.
The ministry getting involved in creating consortium is the issue because they were rejected.
Cabinet approval is granted for this.
The issue isn't reducing the cost by 25 billion. Committees are appointed for this purpose. The issue is that the company which was rejected by our experts forming a consortium, it is unethical.
If we don't listen to the Japanese government, we might not even receive the funds. But we will have to pay off the loans. The RDA, the ministry and all parties concerned should come together and invite the media and everyone else and have a televised debate. The people who have questions will raise them. This can resolve everything. This is what you call transparency.
Several reasonable solutions have been agreed upon during a discussion over the strike action launched by Ceylon Electricity Board trade unions. Media spokesperson of the Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy, Sulakshana Jayawardena, said talks are still underway.
Ceylon Electricity Board trade unions launched a strike action last afternoon over several demands, including a solution to the issue of salary anomalies. Employees at power plants and regional offices of the CEB also pledged their support to the strike action, causing power outages in several parts of the country. Residents of Doluwa Peradeniya were left helpless after power outage was caused by collapsed tree branches and no official responding to restore the supply of power. Activities at the Chilla branch of the CEB were functioning as usual by this evening. Work at the customer service centre of the CEB in Anuradhapura were hampered as maintenance services were not in effect today. The Minister of Power and Renewable Energy said there is a delay in restoring power outages. This morning, General Secretary of the CEB Employees Union, Ranjan Jayala, lodged a complaint with the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division, claiming the administrative authority of the Ceylon Electricity Board were given illegal salary increments.
Lanka විදුලි මණ්ඩලයේ 2014 නොවැම්බර් මාස 27 වෙනිදා
On the 27th of November 2014, at a time when there was an election, a transition of power, salaries of only the administrative authority of the CEB were increased. This is a serious issue. The board of directors of the CEB and then minister, the current chairman and the general manager issued a circular without the approval of the Treasury, the National Salaries and Cadre Commission, nor the Line Ministry. The rulers are diverting the fraud and corruption at the Ceylon Electricity Board into the electricity tariffs and are pickpocketing the innocent people of the country. A solution has been provided to the ranks of the administrative authority and other professionals. It will take some time for it to come into effect, subject to approval of the board of directors. There is an organized group within this who are sabotaging the activities. They have broken a few transformers and have sabotaged the supply of power to the people. Several of our employees have been issued death threats and are threatened of acid attacks, which is obstructing them from reporting to work. We strongly condemn these acts.
Staying on the topic of strike actions, the island-wide strike action launched by the Government Medical Officers Association in protest to the SITEM private medical campus severely affected a large number of patients today as well.
Our appointments were today. They're telling us to talk to the camera, but the camera is not going to give us medicine, is it? We have to suffer now. These people need to be beaten up. We have to travel so far to get here.
Patients in the Anuradhapura, Kandy, Ratnapura and Galle districts were severely inconvenienced by the strike action launched by the GMOA.
Doctors are supposed to be like gods. Who will help humans other than gods? We should bomb them. I brought the child to the clinic without taking him to school.
They did not protest back then out of fear of white vans. They are playing with our innocent lives. I could die in a day or two. If they have a problem with the government, they have to resolve it with the government. We are not the ones to be blamed for those issues.
I underwent surgery when I had to insert an artificial tube, and I came here to remove stitches.
Vehicular processions in protest against SITEM travelled through the districts where the strike action was launched. The vehicular procession organised by the anti-SITEM Jana Power organisation together with the Government Medical Officers Association, political parties and trade unions will arrive in Colombo tomorrow.
Arjun Aloysius officially announced that he will not give evidence before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Newsfirst Zulfiq Farsan reports on Bondgate.
Arjun Aloysius, flanked by his lawyers, led by President's Counsel Gamini Marapana, arrived at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to announce his decision on the order delivered yesterday. Aloysius said, after seeking legal advice, he decided he does not wish to give evidence before the Commission. The order made yesterday clearly notes if Arjun Aloysius is unwilling or refuses to give evidence and does not wish to utilize the opportunity given to him to explain and clarify and give his responses to the matters that have been referred and other concerns of the Commission of Inquiry, the Commission will be compelled to proceed on the basis of the evidence that it has. Acting Solicitor General Dappula de Oliveira, making a statement to the Commission on behalf of the Attorney General, said that they do not agree with the order that the Presidential Commission of Inquiry issued yesterday, which claims that though they find it desirable that Arjun Aloysius must give evidence before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, they cannot compel him to give evidence before the Presidential Commission. Dappula de Oliveira informed the Commission that they would speak with the Attorney General this evening in order to determine what future course of action needs to be taken regarding this order. Steve Samuel, the personal assistant to Arjun Aloysius, was once again at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to provide a statement to the detectives assisting the Commission. Kasun Palisena, the CEO of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, was cross-examined yet again today by Deputy Solicitor General Milinda Gunatilaka. The Deputy Solicitor General pointed out the EPF was used as a financier whenever PTL suffered a financial crisis. The AG's department once again played the previously deleted phone conversations recovered from the PTL system. Deputy Solicitor General Milinda Gunatilaka said the reasons Perpetual Treasuries Limited made phenomenal profits were it knew precisely when and how to bid, and because it finally unloaded bonds with the Employees Provident Fund at higher prices. He added that Kasun Palisena was guided by Arjun Aloysius, who gave them the precise cut-off mark for bond auctions. In market terms, whenever an opportunity arises to make a killing, Arjun Aloysius gets involved with PTL operations. According to the AG's department, PTL was given precise instructions and they were enormously successful. The Presidential Commission has now focused on finding out who made the recommendations to the Mantri Board to not go ahead with a rate cut, which is mentioned by Arjun Aloysius in one of the previously deleted phone conversations. This call had been made on the 29th of March 2016, which is a day of a Treasury bond auction. The Mantri Board had tabled a recommendation to not have a rate cut at its meeting that very morning. When questioned about the terms such as once in a lifetime, friends in powerful places, and department friends that were used by Aloysius in the recovered phone recordings, Kasun Palisena said it's the way Aloysius talks. This led the Commission to assume that Arjun Aloysius was privy to a lot of price-sensitive information. The Commission was puzzled why Palisena did not seem surprised when he heard Aloysius say he got the rates of the EPF for the auction. Kasun Palisena accepted that anyone from the Governor to the Mantri Board to the Public Debt Department would know about the outcome of an auction.
Comments have been made on Arjun Aloysius, the chairman of Perpetual Capital Limited, deciding not to give evidence before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry.
Arjun
Aloysius has issued a threat to both sides of the government, citing he will reveal everything if he is questioned. If that happens, it will hurt a lot of people. First, the Commission says it has the right to obtain evidence from Aloysius. But after the threat is made, instructions have been given and an order was made that they cannot compel Aloysius to give evidence. Therefore, if Aloysius reveals details, the mastermind behind the bond scam, as well as all those who work to secure victory for the common candidate, will be in trouble. If it is said that they cannot compel Aloysius to give evidence, they will say the same to Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Malik Samarawikrama. If all have that right, what is the use of having a commission? If a person is not willing to give evidence, the prosecution will become more strong. This is a bonus for the prosecution. If a person is refusing or not willing to give evidence, it means that he cannot reveal the evidence. The Commission has delivered a very wise order. The Commission has said if he cannot give evidence, he will have to give an affidavit. A person who does not give evidence before the Commission will definitely have to give evidence before the court of law. In a court of law, one cannot get away with submitting only an affidavit. When the matter is taken up in a court of law and when the report is also produced, he will have to answer why did he not give evidence. The state can raise those questions and he will have his back against the wall.
The Presidential Export Awards for the year 2016 took place under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena in Colombo today. Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade Malik Samarawikrama spoke on the need for an increase in exports.
From a share of 33% of GDP in year 2000, exports declined to 12.7% of the GDP in 2016. We cannot afford this to continue. Sri Lanka's two leading exports are not among the top 10 product categories traded in the world. In most other Asian countries, the two key products fall within at least one of the top 5 products traded in the world. So this shows how much we have to do. The government can only set the right policies, undertake some key initiatives, and create an enabling environment. It is the private sector's role now to take advantage of this conducive climate to support this agenda and help to achieve national economic goals.
For the private sector to develop, constant tax policies must prevail. In 2015, the government amendment to the Inland Revenue Act gave benefits to businesses for higher investments. This was withdrawn in the 2016 budget. However, the budget never enacted, resulting in a doubt whether 2015 amendments are still in force. The proposed Inland Revenue Act seems to have withdrawn these benefits. The proposed Inland Revenue Act may be subject to the budget of 2018 to be read in November this year. Considering expected effective date is the 1st of April 2018, are we going to see more changes for this act before it comes into force? Without constant economic policies, how does the government expect private sector to perform? Will the price of a domestic gas cylinder increase? There seems to be mixed signals in this regard from the government.
On Tuesday, the island, citing government sources, reported that President Maithripala Sirisena and a majority of the cabinet ministers opposed a proposal by Minister Malik Samaravikrama to increase gas prices. Releasing a statement in this regard, Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade said the proposal was submitted by the Cost of Living Committee chaired by Minister Malik Samaravikrama. The statement went on to note, quote, the cabinet approved the price of 1,431 rupees per 12.5 kilogram domestic cylinder and the gazette notification will be issued by the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, unquote. However, during the cabinet media briefing held yesterday, this is what the core cabinet spokesperson had to say on this topic. The Cost of Living Committee made a proposal. After this government came into power, we reduced the price of LP gas 8 times. This is over the past 2 years. Due to the exchange rate of the dollar, the committee had some concerns. They requested a 10% increase. We discussed this and then we said we will consider it next year.
Welcome back. The Colombo High Court today considered the bail application submitted by former Secretary to the former President, Lalit Veeratunga, and former Director General of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission, Anusha Palpita.
Colombo High Court Judge Gihan Kulatunga ordered the Attorney General to be informed to provide facts on the 20th of this month in this regard. The bail application requests the duo to be acquitted and released of all charges, cancelling all orders issued against them. Lalit Veeratunga and Anusha Palpita were recently found guilty over the case pertaining to the misappropriation of 600 million rupees of the TRCSL to distribute silk cloth during the run-up to the 2015 presidential election.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa stated today that former Secretary to the President Lalit Veeratunga followed legal orders issued by him to distribute silk cloth.
Issuing a communique clarifying the silk cloth incident, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa states he gave oral instructions in this regard. The communique adds, Lalit Veeratunga noted the oral instruction in his own handwriting in documents at the Presidential Secretariat for the benefit of other officials. The former President points out a note recorded by the Secretary confirms these activities should be carried out under the Special Presidential Development Initiative account in 2014. He said the Ministry of Economic Development had assessed the requirement of silk cloth in temples across the country through Samurdhi officials, as per the request of the then Coordinating Secretary to the President on Religious Affairs, Venerable Watinapaha Somananda Thero. He adds these silk cloth were in fact distributed to temples and not the voters, adding it was a decision of the chief incumbents as to who would receive them. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa said as the funds of the Special Presidential Development Initiative account was used for another purpose, funds of the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission were used to reimburse the account.
When J.R. Jayawardena drafted the constitution and the executive presidency, Lalit Veeratunga served as my secretary, not as a state sector employee. A president secretary does not come under the state sector.
No, we had sent these to the respective provinces in advance, so the officials there had distributed them. No, that is a lie.
Everyone does not need to sign this. When I create a group within the joint opposition, I will not go and cast my vote. I have not voted within the parliament until now. This is a decision taken by the joint opposition. I will go willingly and cast my vote, not only against Ravi but the government as well. You cannot ignore it. This will be the first time I will cast my vote. I think a lot of people will cast their votes. People in the United National Party will also cast their vote.
Son of former President Yoshitha Rajapaksa arrived at the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division today.
Yoshitha Rajapaksa arrived with the FCID to provide a statement on the land and house in Kekatia, Ratmalana, worth 34.5 million rupees. Preliminary investigations revealed that the property was owned by his grandmother. Later it was revealed that Yoshitha Rajapaksa was directly involved in the deal.
I was asked to give a statement to conduct further investigations. I was asked about my grandmother and the land.
Have you been asked to appear again?
No, they said they would call me if needed. I'm not willing to make a statement based on politics. We'll see what will happen. Time will solve everything.
There are several allegations against you. You are constantly summoned to the CID to provide statements on the vehicles of the Cyrilia Foundation and the land.
Relevant institutions have commenced investigations against us. We come when we are summoned and provide our assistance. We take every opportunity to prove our advance.
A seminar to educate the people of the dangers associated with an alcohol distillery being put up in Calcutta in the eastern province was held in Batticaloa yesterday.
The Mendes Alcohol Company was famous for manufacturing alcohol using coconuts. Now they have ventured into manufacturing alcohol using rice. There are two reasons for this. One is that the price of rice is low, and the second is that the tax is also low. A distillery being put up in Calcutta is a problem. There are thousands of liters of alcohol being manufactured here daily. Calcutta is an area with a large amount of underground water sources. The alcohol manufacturing process requires a lot of water. That is why they have selected this area. If they need 1,000 liters of water daily for their operations, and if you multiply that for a year, the amount of water required is in hundreds of thousands. Therefore, the construction of this distillery is wrong. The people there will not have clean drinking water. It is not intelligent to import rice and manufacture alcohol. 53% of the children in Batticaloa are undernourished. Programs should be created for those things. The manufacturing of alcohol will only ruin the society.
Yet another project under the Gum at the Public Service Initiative got underway today.
Gum at the
The foundation stone was laid for a new causeway in the Gedroya village in Popitia. MA's Holdings joined hands with the Gum at the initiative to carry out this project in the Kandy district. We know that Newsfirst is continuing to do good to the society by carrying out various projects with commitment. I hope that the villagers will join hands with us and we will be able to complete this project successfully in the coming 2 months. This is the only access route to this village and residents face many difficulties crossing this bridge during the rainy season. A few years ago, a child lost his life after being washed away in the current while trying to cross the bridge. The child got caught in the current while he was returning home from school. If the bridge was there, his life would have been spared. The body of the child was carried back by his father.
We cannot even travel to get the medicine.
Please complete this road for us. Upon completion, people living in Popitia village will be able to travel to Udukundra, Padupula, Dambaghapitia and Aduyenya villages with ease.
A group of fishermen in Gaul have discovered an unidentified piece of machinery floating in the sea approximately 9 kilometers off the Gaul harbour.
After the fishermen brought it ashore, the Coast Guard Department has seized the object. Fishermen said they were unable to identify what the floating piece of machinery was.
We thought it looked like a rocket. We thought it was a toy. We do not know accurately what this is. The rod, we lifted it up. It was heavy. There was water inside and we do not know what it was.
Speaking to Newsfirst on an earlier occasion, the University of Western Australia confirmed that a project titled the Challenger Glider Mission got underway in Australia. An underwater autonomous vehicle known as a glider was sent from Perth in Australia to Galle. The glider was located 250 kilometers in the seas off the southern tip of Sri Lanka. Newsfirst sent 2 images of the object found by the fishermen to the National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency, or NARA, in Sri Lanka and to the University of Western Australia. The university confirmed it was not part of their glider and that it could be a part of another underwater autonomous vehicle.
The object said to be found today was a machine that belongs to us. We had placed it approximately 250 kilometers away from Valigama. We had to bring it close to the land because it needs repairs. A group of fishermen had spotted it, brought it halfway and dropped it off in fear. This is a machine that can detect how the monsoons travel, and we will also be aware of the fluctuations in temperature. We urge the fishermen not to damage these. There are numbers and names written on them by fishermen. These machines are needed for experiments. One of these had been taken by fishermen and cut open. If there is any suspicion, inform the Navy or the NARA. The public can even call media institutions such as yours and confirm what it is.
71% of the total land mass of planet Earth is covered with water and 97.5% of that value is seawater. The fluctuations in the temperature of the seawater therefore has become a vital factor when it comes to changes in global weather patterns. Obtaining data regarding the changes that happen at sea is important to predict the weather and to emit early warnings. The full-scale experiments that need to be carried out are, however, costly. Scientists and institutions use small-scale gliders and other underwater autonomous vehicles to overcome this challenge. These ocean gliders are used for collecting data on ocean conditions. They are able to observe and measure many properties of the subsurface ocean. Importantly, they are able to transmit data from open ocean to shore in near real time.
A large number of Sri Lanka's migrant workers suffer severe hardships in their search for greener pastures. Now, this report tells the story of a mother of 2 who lost contact with her family.
Nadika Shyamali, a 39-year-old mother of 2, departed for Saudi Arabia seeking employment as a housemaid on the 28th of November 2012. The family first made contact with her 3 months after she left the country, and since then she has only been able to contact home only a few times. Nadika's husband abandoned her and their 2 children soon afterwards as she failed to send money back to the country. The children are now residing with their grandmother. The last time Nadika contacted home was on the 20th of July, and she had stated that she hoped to return home in July or August as it is difficult to remain in the country.
Last time Mom called us, she said was afraid and said she was finding it difficult. She said she did not get any food. She had also been suffering from illness. I was afraid for her. She hasn't returned to the country yet, so we are very scared.
Nadika left the country for an employment period of 2 years. However, it has been 5 years since she left the country.
I have lodged 6 complaints with the Foreign Employment Bureau in Mathura. I also lodged a complaint with the Colombo office. I have gone to the Colombo office on more than 10 occasions. The officials said they would get her back by August. She has not been paid her salary for 2 years.
The eldest daughter, who had excelled at school, passed her ordinary level examination with flying colours. However, she has been forced to abandon her education due to financial difficulties.
I couldn't do my A-levels because my mother is not here and because of financial difficulties. There are safety concerns as well. My sister and my grandmother are alone when I am not there, so I have to abandon my education. Please bring back my mother.
Our numerous attempts to find out more details regarding Nadika from the foreign employment authorities proved to be futile.
So that's all the news we have for you today. Thank you for watching us. I have been